and this is the playground, the Sandbox experience, live Q&A. Thank you, Benita, for waiting. I see that you're here already at the Sandbox. You've been shuffling quite a while. You got a nice sand castle there growing there as we see. Thank you, Benita, for waiting. I see that you're here already.
Sorry, can you hear that?
Yeah, who is that?
I actually have you on two screens. I'm pretty stoked. I'm watching.
Okay, well, yeah.
Sorry. I should have checked different before we did this.
Yeah, so I have my lovely co-host here, Kathy D, and my other lovely co-host, April Williams, and my other co-host was just myself that you heard me echo again in the background. Hey!
Hello.
You didn't know it was two of me, did you? No. Well, technically, there's a female me and a masculine me. So, yes, there are. But anyway, so we continue.
Anima and anima.
And the what and the what?
They're like Latin anima and animus, the masculine and feminine of the.
Okay, I got you.
I'm getting deep already. It's gonna be a good Friday. What can I say?
It's gonna be it is. We're right there. Nose dive into that daggone rabbit hole. All right, here we go. So we talked about having a positive momentum last time, and it was really good. We covered pretty much a good gamut of things as far as what the different things that we can do in order to keep that positive momentum. As usual, we always go home or we think about it and we're like, you know what? It was that one more little caveat that I could have left them with. Well, did you have any other kind of thoughts and said that, you know what? I'm missing one little thing I should have told them, Kathy D or April Williams?
It's the positive self-talk. You know, we talked about union with self. We talked about union with our soul family. And then we talked about moving into the 3D union and getting rid of the karmic. And we talked about all of that. And we having to get rid of our own personal ones, whatever they may be. And remember, we say it's a person, place, or thing. So as I have found out talking to, people, maybe an older generation ahead of us on the whole twin flame thing, that can be health. Because when they get to a certain age, they're not expecting to have things go bad with their health and having to change their plans for what they had for their future. They, like many, also wound up after other marriages and things to come together. So they are very much in a way like our wave, those of us that are in our 40s and, on this wave. So that hasn't changed. But self-talk, I think a lot of times I'm seeing a lot of people talking about all of this and, they're so excited for somebody else to have found something, they either get a call or they get contact or they get communication. But then you hear, but that won't happen to me. Why? Because that'll never happen to me. Things like that don't happen to me. And we've got to stop that.
The internal back talk, yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, and the critic too. Yeah.
What?
The internal critic. The critic.
Yes. Things like that don't happen to me. I'm never that lucky. Happily ever after my story, and it's like you're doing all this work, you're putting all this effort into it. Why put yourself down? And like we said last time, do you understand how truthfully hard it is to have had contact, communication, or any kind of 5D, 3D interaction with a twin flame? This is not an everyday occurrence. And so remember, you are not average. You are above average. So you deserve that. You deserve, you know what? You're right. You don't deserve happily ever after. You deserve amazingly after ever after. I mean, that's where it needs to be. And that's where you need your mind to go. And you have to stop that negative self-talk.
So let's start with just the caveat that it's okay to have had those thoughts and to change them at any moment. So let's do the practice. Let's practice together. I've just said something negative about myself or the situation, or just back talked myself, okay? Or talked myself down, put my, all of these things. Now, as we begin to let our mind stop, we're not going to judge it. Now, oh, you did it again, like it's sneaky, backhanded. We're going to let it be something more. We're going to let it say, okay, now we're the observer of ourselves. So hop out. I'm not going to judge you for doing that. I know that it's happened before, but we can train ourselves to stop doing it now. I forgive myself in a moment. Or if you have to go even deeper, this is the root of it. This is how I learned it. This is where it comes from. Okay. We get that. But it came back. Okay. Taking a deep breath. Okay, I understand who I am. I understand that that's not me, and I'm letting that go right now. Let's repeatedly sit. Let's keep replacing it. You know what? For every negative thing I say to myself, I'm going to say 3 positive things. Or I'm going to find a way to appreciate it for someone else. Or even, I like the whole, would you say that to your best friend? Would you say that to your child? Would you say that to a relative? Because you're not being honest. You're being pessimistic typically in those statements. Your ego might be trying to define you and hold you back in a sense that it's used to and it's afraid of that more. Because what happens when you tell someone how beautiful they are or you accept the compliment that you're beautiful? What happens if you really embody that? It doesn't hurt you to have confidence. I don't know when we got programmed to think it wasn't okay to have confidence and to be good in our skin. And so now let's take a vow to ourselves to love ourselves because we can. It's now a new currency, self-esteem. It's now a new currency, self-love, and the ability to hear through that. And then you can start to allow yourself to receive more and more and more. And you get to stand for yourself as well. And others get to stand for themselves, and we get to encourage each other to keep building. Oh, uniquely chic, we love you, hon. We love you. We see you. We see you. We've been you. We've been there. We've been there. No worries.
Definitely. Yes,
And sometimes still are you. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm from an overzealous mind to another. Yes, I don't say overactive no more. I just say overzealous.
I don't know what it's like to host, so I'm like, is it easy to put up her statement, what she said?
Yes, which one are you talking about? Because she's got 3 lovely statements there. So which one are you picking?
I got that bad. I'm so hard on myself.
Okay.
Self-evaluation, that one. Because sometimes we do that. Sometimes we do. In the state of evolution, like we're going through the process of my frankincense going crazy. Like, cleanse you. Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
That's a lot of energy going on there.
Or a small forest fire.
Yeah, that's a lot of burning up of some energy there. That's in the ethers. Yeah. So we also, I know last time when we talked about elbow coffee. About also you all having questions to bring questions to. Remember, this is interactive. This is not like we say, hey TG, and Wanda Lee, and who is this? It's a lot of Lees up in here.
I know we got Moon Lee and
Wanda Lee, uniquely she.
you guys playing this.
Y'all playing games here.
Are we being pranked?
What's happening? And
we got a vibe. We got a vibe.
And Benita.
Aloha.
The guy was playing daggone rambling up engines outside my window 2 nights in the row. I said, I ain't even gonna let her know what the heck going on. He talking to me. I said, I already know. You ain't got to tell me. But anyway, I said. Yeah, so this is interactive time. So you all to ask questions too, as well, as far as what's about positive momentum or any other subject. It doesn't have to even be that either. So while you got 3 experts here, this is how we get back into the community too, our free resources and time and our expertise too. So use it to your advantage too. Yes, Kathy.
Well, uniquely chic, I want to say that one thing, when I do the hypnotherapy, that as we go through it, and there's one at the end, you come up with a mantra of your own, and it builds slowly. because this is something you've got to train your subconscious mind with. And you tell yourself, this isn't me anymore because, and you fill in what you've done, because I've learned, because I've done the work. And this won't be this won't be me anymore because, and then you add that. And then this can't be me anymore because, and every time you state that last one, you say it with a lot of conviction. This can't be me anymore. It won't be me anymore. It never will be me anymore. And so if you're having a lot of trouble with that, that's a really good way to get with that mantra.
I like it.
Taking that.
I like the ownership, the I am.
Well, not to get too deep with it, but there's a psychological reason on the why you say this won't be me, this never will, So the wording is kind of, there's a purpose for it.
Mm-hmm.
It is something for you to train your mind. Yes, ma'am. And so if you have an overzealous mind like myself, I do the mantras, but I've also found out using, I first had tried using the one by, I first had used the one that was by Cassidy, and then I used hers, but then after a while, I was like, okay, my mind was like, okay, that's nice. It's over and over again. And I was like, yeah. And so then I created one with my own voice too.
And that's the best way to do it.
And mantras too. And that one really worked out. I've seen changes. I've seen how it shifted things around. I've seen how I even talked about what I wanted to do with my business. I shifted things too as well. So I hear it in my own voice. And I can even hear, I know I had did hypnotherapy with Kathy. And I was like, she's like, okay, say the statement again. And I was like, I am saying it with power. Say it again. I'm like, what's she talking about? I'm about to get Kathy through this screen. So in the next, I was like, what I went, and I'm listening, even playing back to myself. I could even hear myself say, that's not convincing. You didn't even believe it yourself when you said that. That's not convincing. You didn't believe it when you said it. I could tell. Because you just, you mumbled a little bit like, and I could see that. I said, okay, well, we got to work on that statement. That part, I can see that's a weakness. So that's something which I can do. So that's something also so you can see as well, because you can't play games. You know yourself better. You might want to even take yourself saying things, and you might say, I got power over that. And you'll be surprised what things show up. Your tails playing cards that will come up and say, no. You don't quite have that down pat. You might need to revisit that thought over again as well, too. Yeah. Hey,
Ethereal, yay!
77777 to the 7 to the 77. What's happening? What you make that face for, April?
Because she said you're supposed to text back, and I was like, and then I'm on the computer, right? And I'm like, I don't even know how to make the emoji for this. So do I just write emoji and then just hold the face?
Yeah, I'm so mad. Yes, I'm so mad. Supposed to text back. I'm glad you got a response back. I'll talk to you later on that. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Was it for mantras? Like, before, because I came from a very, very Christian background, right? So the mantras we would use would be small prayers, like the Lord as my shepherd and things like that. And you start with that, and then I got led into like Hinduism, Sanskrit, the Om, just the Om, and then Om Mani Padme Hum, like Lakshmi. I wanted to understand the various faces of what God was, right? So I started looking into like the other gods and goddesses, but always sticking true to the one that resonates the most with you, right? You just want to understand people, but not lose your center. Because there's something about when you go into that whole spiral, like it's a really crazy place. And I have some friends kind of going through that, the coming of age. What does it all mean? Rabbit hole, right? And so remembering that we're here to have this experience, like Divine Sunshine's always saying, we're having this is a teachable planet. I like to think of it as like babies, right? The Muppet babies. Muppet babies. And we're all just here learning and having fun and exploring. So what do we do? we sit there and we go over ourselves and we be critical, or we let go and we trust and we keep moving forward. Sometimes it's nice to just dream. Sometimes it's nice to just be romantic with yourself and give yourself what you need emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Moon Lee has it's not really a question, but it's a statement, but it's kind of
That's just what I was about to get on. I've heard some say that you don't really think about DM when you're coming close to unifying in the 3D. For others to embrace the knowing that you'll be together, it's difficult for me to do both. About to say, so choose one. And guess who you're going to choose? Me. Not me, yourself. That's what I mean.
I think you think about the DM differently. It's not
Right.
that obsessive thoughts from the beginning, what's he doing, what's he thinking, where is he, what's going on, I don't understand, how does he feel, how does he, all of that's gone. It's you come into a knowing of I know what I know we're going to be together. Might not know when, but I know that, and you have that foundation and that trust. So that's the main part of it. And you embrace yourself a lot more. You start seeing things really clear on your mission, on things that need done.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm Capricorn, so I am more of a bullet point list maker. So it's a lot more of, well, I see things become very clear, like where blockages are, where I have maybe sold myself short and wanted to blame him for it. And those kind of things become very clear. And it's not in a self-sabotaging way. It's one of those like aha teachable moments. As teachers, we always say there's those aha moments as teachable moments.
Yes.
And that's one of them. That's when you go, oh, that's where we're mirroring. Okay, well, I know that, for my own good, I need to fix that. And you start looking at things for your own good. And if he benefits, fantastic. If he doesn't, that's fine too, because as long as you're moving forward and you're doing you and you're doing good and you're doing it right, that's all that matters. And then you'll feel that confidence that, it's okay. It's not as panicky. So I hope that kind of helped.
She said, I guess I wanted to see if it was still okay that he crosses my mind throughout the day.
Oh,
And
sure.
Of course, they're gonna do that, and
And as you get closer, they come in more.
the feel, the music, the everything, and it's better. It feels better when you're not detached, because there's something within that longing of that space that creates a sort of like old paradigm self torture, or you know what I mean, and it holds you back from being able to attach to the good things that you're about to have in front of you. I found it to be distracting, that 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 attachment. So, like I was saying, detachment. He gave. I heard this story from a DM about a vacuum, and when you're not attached to them, it creates this pull, this magnetism with your heart, because you're looking forward and pulling, and you still have a fondness, but it's a detached fondness where you're not hurting your own self with longing, right? Because if you're hurting yourself or you're doing something like that, they can feel that too. Yeah. Yes.
yeah, so it's good, because I heard that also when you're in your own space like that, that gives them freedom on their end to do what they have to do. So that's why I said I made it as a joke, but it was really serious. What just joking, but not joking. I forgot the little quotes they have afterwards, but that's actually what I'm saying, is that you choose yourself in the process, and that way it does. You keep yourself busy. You got enough things to do on mission with self, loving self, becoming your number one fan. All of those things are things that help you, and to kind of like, not a distraction. You know what? And I'll be honest. At the beginning, the mission did become like a welcome distraction, because again, I wasn't able to kind of get off. It was always that constant thinking about what he doing with this, what he doing with this, blah, blah, blah. And so when I threw myself into those projects, that was a welcome distraction for me until it became natural. It's like, oh, you know what? After a while, I didn't go thinking about him today. Oh, wow, this is really working, and each time, just a little bit, just like almost like an addict, you got to kind of wean yourself off of the DM, the whole energy things of that, and then you find yourself, okay, yeah, I didn't think. I went all day, I didn't think. Maybe sometimes you won't even stop to even think about, I didn't even think about the DM today. So that's another way of also doing that. It starts off baby stepping, waning it a little bit, and then before you know, you're full blown just going at it, and then they'll say, you get a text, hey, you're like, who is this? Why you trying to play like you don't know who this is? Oh, okay, yeah, it's you. So, and that kind of happens as well too. After a while you be so out of it, when they do call you, like, okay, well, what you calling for? I have said that too. He's like, what you mean? I said, oh, okay, I forgot. Hey, is there no question that I missed while I was talking? Did somebody else say something?
No.
Everybody just saying good.
Oh, the longing.
Yeah, Jade is talking about the longing. Yeah, we've all been there.
Oh, yes, Jesus.
And certain things, certain times, it pops up. We all go through
I don't even
that.
want to make the face of what my longing is. I'm good at emotion transference. Like, I get to be like, here it is. And I'm like, no, don't do that. I don't want to do that to people, man.
The longing? Okay, yeah, no, don't do
The
the
tears, the aching, the body purging. Like, it's this weird pull, too. It comes from deep within your bones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can kind of let ourselves be free and light, we encourage them to do the same, and it brings us closer together so we can be in more of a better frequency match, right? Because you want to think about the future match that you're going to be in with your partner and what that vibration holds. And it holds this love and peace and kindness and forgiveness and balance and self-centered, or not self-centeredness, but you're centered. You're centered. You know your flow, and you're holding that higher space. So when you, if anything, to pull you out of it, because you can go into like different methods, right, of pulling yourself out of longing, like distraction or things like that. If you just realize that that isn't gonna get you into union, you can let it go and say, yes, that may have been something from the past. I learned from that, and let it go, and keep just gradually doing that, and it becomes less and less.
Yeah, it does. It does come less and less. It's just a process. I mean, it's nothing like cold turkey that you just forget it and say, okay.
But it's certain emotions. It's like letting go of karma, right? You can never let go of something that, because how the brain is even wired, right? We're processing certain things, bring our, oh my goodness, I'm thinking about it in like a form of a cartoon, and I'm like, put words out of your mouth, April. Okay, so you've got neurons going through your brain that have a repeated patterning, and things that you do more frequently, the trails are often more quickly to be used than new ones that you're building. So you get to gradually temper yourself over to the emotion that you want to create, that you want to sustain yourself at. Wish I could pull this up. I'm like, look at the dendrites, people, the dendrites. It's like little tiny parts of nerves. I mean, study how your brain works, study how your emotions work, study how your body works. Whatever attracts you into knowing you better. And it helps you understand others a whole lot better.
Jada Pinkin said that I am just trying to elevate, and I'm scared he will forget about me, but I trust the process.
Oh yeah, this helps him get into his little, what do they call that? The Eight of Cups. That helps him go into his dark night, pushes him through himself. Because it's not that we carry them along the way, we lead the path to self-discovery. You guys are looking at each other, it's so funny. But trust, trust
this
him.
way.
Good job, Jada. Trust it. Oh,
give me that look. I know that's right. What you gonna find?
You getting ready for that reunion, huh? Better get your buckets out. Better get your buckets out.
Kathy got to watch the replay. Watch it. She ain't even seen nothing.
25. It's pretty funny. Start watching that. You was about to get down.
Cause like, what y'all do? What happened?
Unconditional love.
Watch the replay.
Sorry, I had a small child emergency.
No worries.
No worries. You know, I like to mess with you. I like to mess with both of y'all. Okay.
I said unconditional love sustains me.
Yeah.
I like that. Whoa. I like that too. It was the I almost don't want to call it out, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So someone posted on their social media, and I'm not even gonna give them anything about it because I don't want y'all looking at their social media. They said that there was no such thing as unconditional love, and I was like, oh my gosh. So first of all, you're telling me what love is and what unconditional means. Because she was saying, if you unconditionally love, you stay in an abusive relationship. You'll do this and you do that. I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure that's not unconditional love. That's like the tough part of love. That's the like real nitty gritty. I'm gonna teach you how to be a human being kind of love. Like you need to understand boundaries kind of love. You know what I mean? And that is unconditional because you want them to become the better them. Right? And it's not that your condition is allowing someone to walk all over you. Your condition is I stay with you or I love you from afar, depending on where you are in your service. See, a lot of people I hear will take abuse or take, steady misconduct. And I found that it's super unbalanced or unhealthy for us as individuals to not speak our mind, not say who we are, but also to constantly be pushing this energy outwardly, right? Because we'll repeat cycles that we're working our way out of as we begin and continue to evolve, staying on our positive momentum, holding the line. The quest now is to see our own patterning so that we can let go of that which no longer serves us and it's been holding us back that we may not be seeing. And that's where the evolution comes in. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have forgotten certain things and pick them up again. But the key is to remember the self. The key is to keep your beacon of light so you can attract your divine, so you can intermingle. And the fact that you're on this path, you're on this journey, there's so much to learn and there's so many layers to it. And remaining, what's the word? It's not hopeful, but remaining like just open to there being this pleasure, this level, this in Tantra, it's like, that sweet nectar of everything that is the love of life, that is that connection. And step into being, step into space, hold that vibration and see what it brings you. And it's going to bring you a lot of interesting things. And so one of those things is going to be everything you desire. And are you ready to hold on to it? And I think sometimes we let it go because we don't think we're deserving, or we forgot how, or we never had the examples. But it's time now to allow ourselves to have that pleasure. It's okay to have good things. It's okay to be confident and loved and secure in yourself and know that everything is going to be great. So.
Yeah, I like how Jada puts it here. Were you about to talk, Kathy? I'm sorry, did I was talking? Okay, all right. I like how Jada does state that. I compare that love to the love for my children. For me, and I guess I want to kind of add in also to what you had stated. It is just like you have a love for a child, you have boundaries. You tell them what's right, what's wrong, and what's that. But underlying still to me, when you say unconditional thing, is that you still love them. Okay, you're not going to throw the baby, like they say, out with the bathwater. Okay, you did this now. I disown you. You're not my child anymore. And that again to me is still saying you're still expressing love. Rather, it's at a distance as well, but also there's still love there. In some ways, some people use the thing, there's no love lost. And I mean, literally, when you say unconditional love, there is no love lost. It's still there. Now, it might be different variances and different various degrees and levels to it. But when you talk about unconditional love, that love is still there. And I guess we had discussed about this earlier about it too. And they keep on bringing to me about this temperance. They keep bringing me this card. We got to learn how to be able to bring that balance to these things in which we are doing, because some of us can be saying, I'm practicing unconditional love, you know, but then at the same time, if you want this person, you've got to also kind of meet them in the middle too. You can still have your healthy boundaries and everything, and I'm not disagreeing with what April's saying, but I'm saying also I can see some of you all, when they are trying, you do it like this, and they're trying, but you're like, nah, this unconditional love, I'm doing me, I'm loving me, and there's no way of it coming together. I think about Sherry and what's the ones that's in union, Sherry and what's his name? Well, I'm missing his name. The other one that's in union, the black and white couple that's in union.
Oh,
Sherry and
yeah.
I just listened to them today.
mercy, well, I can't come up with his name.
Sherry and
Oh God, it was Jesus.
wait, hold on.
Well, but it's okay. Tell the part. Don't forget the thought. Don't forget that.
That, you know, if they were ever in that kind of, it'll come to me. I could
Oh.
see them. If they were ever in that kind of,
Lee and Sherry.
who?
He said Lee.
Lee and Sherry, thank you. If Lee and Sherry were ever in that kind of thing, they say, we ever stayed in that kind of thing? Like, I'm not going to talk to you because you did this and this conditions and this is the conditions I put up. They said we would never get back together. We had to kind of have like a little bit of a sliding scale to this. That's why I said you got to kind of temper that too as well.
What I was referring to was I was thinking what occurred to me was someone staying in a really bad relationship and it's not their twin flame. And they're holding the line, but in a false relationship where they're getting like abused.
Okay.
That's what happened. Someone was like, I'm clinging on to this person because they're my twin and they do this, and it's like, no, they don't fit the right. But you might be in the right energy. Now it's to get yourself out of that space, right? Because like you're saying, like if you're in a frequency and you're repeating a pattern and you're getting in a situation, and this can happen on a small scale to a big scale. But if you're in a situation where you're just having a slight, a kind of major alignment difference, you can separate, change frequency, and allow the room for the other person to be different, and then come back together. But if you're both in the same process and you have different ways of like communicating, there is a level of learning to communicate with your twin on multiple levels. If you're not really communicating properly, you'll keep checking and balancing each other in the same frequency and get stuck there. And so you know, the spirits and guides that be, they put you and separate you on purpose.
Yeah.
So
separation is okay. Thank you, Ralphie. He had to ding on that one. But yes, that is a good thing to go back and try to reset yourself. It's kind of like almost separation should really be thought of like recalibration. It's like you just recalibrate. You just calibrate again over so you can either up level your frequency as well. So yeah, okay, when you put it in that reference, then I was still with you, even regardless if it was a toxic or not to stay into it. But again, if you're still knowing that you, like Gary said, and thank you, Moon Lee, I'm sorry, I was looking off to this trying to think, and you said about 5 different times over there on the side. I shouldn't look what his name was. That
was funny.
Yeah, she's like Lee, and I still ain't hearing like what's his name. Like, So yeah, that thing is understanding that what brought to me when they were in union is like it's still it's still there. It was still unconditional love. They had somebody, Lee had somebody, she had somebody one time. He didn't have nobody, and she was still in the marriage, and how they still kind of found ways even through that separation to kind of still stay connected. And I'm not recommending that for everybody because like I said, everybody's different and you don't need to do it to a point that you find yourself selling yourself out in the process as well. But just understanding that this unconditional love might look a little bit more different than what you are actually looking at or used to on this twin flame journey. as well too. But make sure that it is healthy. If it gets to any kind of point that you feel like you're selling yourself or you're putting yourself out there more and they're not reaching back and giving you the same energy back, then that's something that you need to look at and say, okay, I think maybe separation might be good right now because I can't keep on pouring into this situation and you ain't giving me anything back in return. Then at that point, it's like, yeah, you hit the note to say, I still love you. I want this. I know it's not something in my head I'm crazy, and I know we're destined to be together, but right now, until you really see, and I start seeing the value of myself at this point, and I know that I truly have, then it might be time for you to kind of separate at this time on that. So that's where you hit that note, and I can understand that on that point as well. But she said she laughing her ass off at me. I know. How about that? Yes, she said, and then I leave. Yeah, if they're not at that point, at that part, yes. No, don't just keep on. Still toe open, leave the door open. But like, okay, when you're ready, you come back a little better. Then we can talk about first. We'll talk about it before you start entering in the door. Like, who is it?
Now,
And understand too that separation for everybody is different. Don't compare your separation to somebody else's. Some people can be separated for a few months. Some can be separated by a few miles. Some can be separated for years and lots of miles. I think a lot of it is that God and Source know what we would do if either we were closer or and we haven't finished our work or all kinds of things like that. So that there's, when you sit back and you look at it, you're very glad you did. I know, especially this last week, I saw it myself, just being within the vicinity of the DM. 2 years ago, I would have been at his work. I would have, found him at the grocery store, and this time there wasn't a need to do that. There wasn't it wasn't panicky. Like I literally, April talks about it all the time, and I sat in that emotion. And once the fear went away, man, that was the like cocoon of unconditional love. And if you haven't allowed yourself to sit in that, I highly encourage you to, because it's the most amazing thing just to know. I mean, you know what you know what you know. I know there are a lot of DMs right now that are thinking they're crazy. I'm kind of hearing that a lot. I know mine is really now, thinking, is this me? Is this, is this Memorex kind of thing? And so just sit in that, because, and then you radiate love, and you radiate that unconditional love. And it's, and this is, I think, all over 18. I'll just tell you point blank, it's better than any high you could ever have. It is just, oh, and then you don't want to leave, but it's not because you want to with him. It's just being in that vicinity to feel him. It's not the same. It's not that longing. You're almost to the point of, well, if I see him, great. If I don't, great. Stay a couple miles down the road. I just want to feel you, because it is that amazing.
I'm not going to push that away.
But then, even now that we're thousands of miles apart, or hundreds of miles apart, not thousands, hundreds, that came with me. And that once you're introduced, it's so important to understand, what you know. And we've all said it over and over again. And with when I go into hypnotherapy and I ask the client questions, they can answer it. There's no right or wrong, but they know from their subconscious. And we've known for a very long time what all is going on, even though we still have these aha moments. But once you're in that cocoon and then you leave that area, it's not that it comes with you. It's not like it follows you. It's not like a cold. It opens you up to the idea that you've always had that, and that you didn't know you had that because it's become such a normal. You haven't been able to put a name to it. You haven't been able to put an emotion to it, or you haven't just sat in it and let it flow with you and through you and in you and around you and above you and under you and just all those wonderful things. So, sit in those emotions and really enjoy them, and don't take that. And it's not a longing, it's a loving. And the unconditional love you just can't beat.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, you can't. And I've learned to even, like you said, to take that and to anchor it, because it used to make me just kind of float away, kind of like, and then I get kind of a little cocky. I'm like, oh, that love, and it just becomes high. And then I said, okay, listen here, okay. We're gonna take it, we're gonna anchor it down into the earth, cycle it back up, and do it, put it right on and anchor it into the heart. And say, chicken, and I could see it like anchor, like drop, and then I wouldn't be so floaty, so
Mm-hmm.
going into ego with it, I would learn how to, okay, even talking to him or being in his um in his presence. That way I would take it and I would just like, okay, now anchor it. And then I'm like, oh, and center it. So, that's a good way too, if you are in communication, so you don't take it and it makes you fly off into some other tangents as well. That's a good practice for you to do, to anchor that feeling, that feel good, that bliss that you get feel from them too, so that you don't make like the next minute you talk about, okay, I'm gonna call him back. Let me see, since he's talking to me now, maybe I'll just call and see how he's doing this time. No. Let it go. That was a nice moment that you had. And so you just go ahead and anchor it and live off the fumes from you talking to him or being in his presence. That's where we go wrong. We like a person I know, like me and Allie. I want more. Ooh. More.
And it's
No.
like you can conjure. It feels like you can conjure the energy. You can conjure him. You can
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
bring him to you with just a call of that energy. But then holding it in your heart space where it's not a "I need you now" kind of thing. Um, it allows you to take that energy to fuel you
Mm-hmm.
with your own personal work, with your own.
True.
And the quicker you start to, like Kathy D and I and Divine Sunshine have all experienced, is it becomes less and less. And sometimes it comes back like a freaking bat out of the darkness. Just but then you're like, okay, let it go. It's okay. It's all right. And it can linger, like for a day or so. But
Yes.
you keep communicating, say, hey, look there, I'm stuck there. I'm like a little bit, what's going on? And we have our communities and lots of people to reach out to just kind of help us remember who we are, because that void can sometimes feel really heavy or
Yes, it can.
really intense. And then we want to define it. There's also a sense of when you're getting in the balance of feeling the love with less attachment and more kind of just genuine presence, um, you can you can still be in the space of acceptance of it. So when it does come to you, you're not pushing it away, right? Because some of us can even go there. We attempt to go there in our mind, and we still push it away from us. And some of us, we cling on to it, like Elmira, I think was her name, in that little show, or that Animaniacs or something like that. And she loved the animals. It's like, oh, I love him in school. You can feel him. And she would be like choking the animal. Like, we need to get our balance
I
back.
can't breathe.
And they want to be with us as much as we want to be with them. But at the same time, there's a detachment with, um, with, I guess, ownership, okay?
Yeah,
Because
and
it's
this is
owning to
interesting.
ourselves. Hmm.
It says at Kathy D, I've actually experienced and realized love as represented by Jesus. Never had that experience or understanding before this journey.
Yes, and that is so. I'm right there with you, TG. I was great at giving unconditional love. Um, I say unfortunately, I guess it's fortunately, my life did not provide me at a young age, and up until now, up until this journey started, 3 years ago or more, back in 2017, hadn't provided me with unconditional love other than for my children. So to receive that unconditional love when not needed was amazing. So I understand completely what you say, and it is so Christ-like, and
Mm-hmm.
And then when you just sit in it, what was that? Which archangel's that?
It's Mother Teresa.
Well, she's a saint now, so, but
Right.
yeah, it is. It's an amazing feeling, and if you have been, if you've been lucky enough not to have received unconditional love till now, it's like a kid at Christmas, because you give it and then all of a sudden it comes back, and it's true what they say, it comes back 7 times 77. The love is unbelievable, and it's not just with the DM, it's with the important people in your life.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. I like what Benita had said. Yep, you still get times where it comes back in really strong, but it won't be like it was at the beginning, and you'll be able to bring yourself out of it. Sometimes it may be them you're feeling. That is true. And doing that. So yeah, each time you experience, you have a little bit more mastery over it. Like, okay, yeah, you're not going to kind of rock me, sock me, but you get the feeling, but you say, okay, I know what to do. Let's anchor it, right then. And you're thankful for, like the littlest things that does happen and occur as far as unconditional, rather where it comes from. That's one of the purpose of understanding, even when you're in separation, from your DM, that you find other sources in which, I guess that's what you call it, 8 of Cups. That you find other sources that can be able to fill your cup as well. You make connections. Like I've been told about my new friend that I have that's been teaching me things, and I've been getting naturally high off of that. And I was like, oh my God, this is almost like the same thing like the DM. So you'll find other ways in which to fill your cup up. Doing projects, I finish projects and things. Come to me back to back to back, like, okay, we're going to do this now. We're going to do this now. And that gives me high to finish things. So you'll find other things that the universe will bring to be able to be thankful for too, as well. Yeah, and that is true. And I said that. She used my own word. This whole journey is about love. And that is true. That's what I said. We forget about that. I think about Patricia McNealy says that all the time. We keep on talking about the mission. Like she's like, we going to work, but we forget again, it's love of self and love of others and love of our divine counterparts as well. That's part of the mission too. We forget about love. Even us starting off on this twin flame thing, we had been beat down on us from people and readers and whatever like that. It's the mission. It's the mission. It's the mission. But again, we got to love the mission. We don't love the mission. We don't want to do the mission. So that's a big thing as well.
Whoa.
Was that Telly Savalas? Who was that?
I remember that.
She was really the DM advocate over here.
Right.
We don't want the mission. We don't do the mission.
We don't do the mission. We don't like the mission. We don't do the mission.
Come on, babe. Let's do the mission, because you know what happens when we're done when we're doing the mission, right?
Say what? Nah, I'm listening now. What we do after the mission?
The mission is love.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
I feel like making. Why that one? I don't know. Was that for you, Kennedy? Was that for you? I feel like making love.
Yeah, that would be him.
Boom. Boom. Again.
For that, I can do it. I'll do 15 missions. How many missions I got to do?
The fact that I was blushing, yes, that was from him. He loves nothing more than to make me blush. So that would be. Thanks, babe.
All right.
Like on camera, like that. On camera, she got that sass, but off camera, it's all about that. Anyway.
So what's our activity for today? What's our meditation?
Meditation. Okay, well, we can come together in unison. We can come together in holding the line here where we are now. And it's kind of like, everybody take a deep breath. Do we all know the egg? I'll do the egg real easy. Let's take 3 breaths, and by then we'll get our bubbles. And release. Now set this bubble around you. The space, the air around you becomes thicker. You can move around if you want to and feel it. It starts to get really electric, really thick. Thick like water, thick like milk, thick like cream. And a bubble appears about 1.5 feet, just 2 feet off your body. Whatever feels comfortable. And this bubble on the inside goes from silver to gold, to rose gold, to violet, to white. But it's actually thin. It's real thin, but it's real thick at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Now, take a deep breath in and hold and release. We're going to let our spine warm up, let our inner core warm up. We squeeze our lower dantian, which is our lower muscles, and squeeze it and release, and squeeze and release. And we're going to get to our chest. Okay. We're just going to jump up to our heart, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. We'll go up to our throat, and tighten and relax, and tighten and relax. And now we're going to just kind of squeeze, crunch up our faces, like our crown. Imagine our crown could tighten and relax, and tighten and relax. Go back through. Let the energy flow. Hit these spots. You can squeeze your core too. We can hit that solar plexus, and that's sacral. I feel y'all. Come on. And relax. Now let this energy start to build in you, this heat and this egg, this safe space. And then we're going to pull energy up from our feet to our knees, to our hips, to our root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and up to the deep, deep heavens. And it comes down raining like a big waterfall that goes all the way around you. And it comes back up through your, hits the earth, comes back up through your feet, ankles, knees, hips, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and up deep, 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 deep into the heavens. And now that it's deep into the heavens, we're all going to link together like one big rope, like one big woven, stranded, connected rope to the heavens of gold and white. And you can see a silver. And ooh, someone's got flecks of red and green. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff going on all over our planet. And we're all just shooting up into the heaven, bringing up, and gathering a collective dose hit from the great I am, touching up where Christed energy is, and we're going to allow it to fall down and trickle around us, just like a beautiful fireworks display. And it's lightening up the earth everywhere it goes, and the earth becomes this beautiful, scattered, lovely ember of light and warmth and love. I'm going to allow it to rise back up through the middle of the earth like molten magma, through the soles of our feet, our ankles, our knees, our hips, our solar plexus, our root, our sacral, our solar plexus, our heart, our throat, our eye, our third eye, our crown, out through our arms. Allow your hands to kind of come together and clap, 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 clap. Now start to open your arm, open your hands, and feel the energy molding up between, like an energy ball. Pulsate the energy ball. Sure. Okay. Now take this energy ball and this energy that's all melted around you in your egg, and wash your body with it. Kind of just wash your body. Pick it up from the ground and wash. Pick it up from wash. Pick it up and wash. And now, just appreciate that love that was given to us, that energy we brought and rose the vibration of the earth. We are now holding this line together. We are now holding this space together. We now brought heaven down here on earth. Bathed ourselves in her and allowed us to become her, him, it, the heaven. God, thank you. And here we are. Amen. Okay, open your eyes. Tap. See. Tap your heart. Tap your heels. Here we go. Look at you using them devices, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead. I felt you. I was like, she's still here. I feel her right now.
I didn't even know she was gone. I'm so gone. I was in the air in the ether sending up the love and us connected. I didn't know she had left.
On your chest.
Now I know how you feel about me.
I was gone.
You know how it is in that 5D, girl. You know how it is in that 5D and beyond.
Right, you was there. You was there with me. I didn't even know you left me. All right, then. I don't have anything tonight. I think it's really what we need. But I think that we need to do a lot of kind of attention of doing a lot of shout outs about things that's going on with us. I'm gonna start off with first thing is that our own made for this golden life .com with our own April Williams is joining up with she got an iPad. Okay, squirrel, get back. Okay, with our own Jupiter 1111 are teaming up together and they're doing a series. Make sure that you all are signing up for Rise with Jupiter. Do I have that thing on my thing? I think I do. Okay, there we go. RiseWithJupiter.com. Is that her thing? Yeah, she probably has it on her thing. If you're not listed on her email, please make sure that you do that because remember that we got to kind of keep a balance here. That right now, April Williams has been something dear to her heart, which is the divine feminine energies, is for us to really get in touch with that and understand that. I'm divine masculine advocate. I think us together is a really powerful thing of hitting both of those things so we can really understand both the dynamics of the energies and how we are housed both ways of those things and how we really need to be in touch and understand the divine feminine that we are and the divine masculine aspect too. So make sure that you go and sign up for their email because they've got lovely tidbits and things that they're different workshops. They help you with getting in touch with the divine feminine energies over there. Don't also forget about our own golden Hawaiian goddess over here that has her own meditations as well. I think what I'm picking up, you got your bath salts. She got apothecary things going on over there too. She's got to kind of
I'm gonna start doing custom soaps and I do like these really beautiful cleansers and stuff, you guys.
Yeah,
I'm doing these custom blends. So yeah, come check me out.
Yeah,
I'm fully officially launching Lionsgate, so you can do. I'll set it up soon enough that you can get pre-orders. But you heard it here. You heard it here at the Sandbox. Get that sound out your ears. Can you hear? Did you hear about the Lionsgate?
Right, and don't forget about the Lionsgate. I forgot about that too, because that's coming around too as well. So make sure that you can sign up to go with that. That's our online, our presentation like we did last time, which was what was the 411. This time you have the new one, the Rebirth of You. That's something that you should really be getting into as well. Event that you had us speak in the playground, myself, Jupiter 1111. Who else is on there? I forgot.
David.
Divine Soul Mission.
Yeah.
Okay, David's on there. So okay, next time we'll be on here. We'll be a little bit more what you call business on the fly. But I felt that we had like a community board here too, as well, as far as knowing about that, making that connection too, as well. So make sure you go to her about that, the apothecary thing, and then you got also the meditations as well, because I'm feeling they say I got to plug both of those things for you too, as well. And also you have our own pineapple. Where's your thing? Here we go. Look up at the top. PineappleFishLifeCoaching.com. Make sure you come there. She's got that good hypnotherapy. She talked about it. She kind of plugged it as well about that's a new service that she has there that will help you to stop those habitual things that you're doing that involuntarily, that they can help you to stop and have more clarity and more decisiveness as to how you're going about living your life. So make sure that you hit her as well with that, our own Kathy D too. And then also you got me, Divineunisouls11.co. You also have my love letters as well. You see my love of Crystal was plugging it on the sidelines about that. Remember that it's not just only for just your divine twin flames. I could do past loved ones, someone that you want a letter from your daddy or your mom that's passed over. I could do that as well. That's a new thing that people have been requesting. Do you do that? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, so that's another thing as well, and transformational things. But don't forget also us as the Playground Totality. We have our own spiritual firm, just like a law firm. We have a spiritual firm. We got a body, we got the spiritual, and we got the mind. That's the holistic view of getting you tight and getting you right. $92 an hour for each one of us of our services. Bringing that in, you pick the topic, you pick the concept, and then we'll build a program around the idea or the concept that you want to as well. Go to Divineunisouls11.co for that as well. And if you like what we are throwing down on this channel, make sure that you click like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Smash that notification bell so you can get all of the good stuff and letting you know when we are going live and what other things that we are putting up on the playground as far as downloads or videos as well. All right, then get us on out of here, Kathy.
Well, make sure that you get your own sand bucket, empty the sand out of your shoes, throw away your trash, leave it cleaner than you found it. And wishing you your best life ever. See you soon. Also, remember my website is still being my karmic. So if you get there and you see like strange things,
my karmic.
yeah. So know that. But I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. So you can find me there under Pineapple Fish Life Coaching. Any questions, and you can schedule stuff through that too.
Okay. I forgot about that. Okay, yes, you're right. Okay, and April.
Stay blessed. Stay golden.
All right, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, namago. Love ya. All right, we's out of here.